Hi everybody, I'm Ryan. Today we're going to look at the modern metagame. My wife is currently holding the ring light because we lost our stand. So it suddenly got brighter. Today we're going to be doing the modern metagame? The modern metagame for the last week on Magic Online. This is going to be mostly consisting of League 5-0s, Prelim 4-0s, and Premier Event Top 32s. Let's jump into it. The modern metagame is as such. At the very top is Hammer Time, which consists of 7.7% of the Magic Online modern meta, followed closely by Red Black Scam with 7.1%, and then third is Murktide with 6.6%. So notice those are all under 10% of the meta, which is a pretty big deal because it means no deck is totally dominant. Please stop. And the decks listed here aren't even all of the decks. 35% of the decks are like very minute corner case decks that exist as a very, very small percentage of the meta. But 35% of these successful decks are not the top decks, which is a really big deal and a really healthy format. And I think the top decks are like, you know, have their win percentages within just a few percentage points of each other. And you can play almost anything in Modern at the moment. But let's look at the top three most popular decks. At the very top is Hammer Time. What Hammer Time does is it is sort of the aggro combo deck of the format, right? It's a Neo affinity, if you will. It does the absolute best it can to play and equip this card Colossus Hammer, which gives +10/+10 to a creature as early as turn 2. Its nut hand is like Memnite or Ornithopter, and like play Sigarda's Aid, and then turn 2, play Colossus Hammer, they get equipped and you jam in. It cheats other things on the battlefield. It's very much an equipment-focused deck with interaction alongside it. The second most popular deck is a deck I actually kind of like, Red Black Scam. No fun to play against. It's called Scam because it's meant to scam you out of games. It does its best to have as many non-games as possible, and even when you like wiggle out of the first few turns and are able to have a game with them, they play a bunch of like unfun, very good cards. Their nut hand is definitely just like Evoke Grief, Thoughtseize You, feign death effect on Grief, get to Thoughtseize You again, and now I have a 4/3 with Menace. You can do a similar thing with Fury, and also just like has Regavan nuts. It's just a very powerful deck. The third most popular deck is Murktide. Murktide is kind of just like maybe the best deck. I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely the deck that a lot of the best players are playing. The deck gives you a lot of agency. It's just blue-red tempo, has Regavan nuts, is meant to play just an 8/8 for 2 flyer with Murktide Regent as fast as possible, or play things like Regavan or Ledger Shredder or Dragon's Rage Channeler, and then protect those cards with counter magic and burn spells and draws a bunch of cards. Just your classic blue-red tempo deck. But that's not all in the modern metagame. We also have access to a top 8 metagame, because there are 2 premier events on Magic Online this past weekend. I apologize that the Murktide percentages were actually cut off. At the very top, the most popular deck in top 8s was Blue-Red Prowess, with 18.8% of the top 8s in Magic Online this past weekend. And then tied in second, Murktide had 12.5 as well, was 5-color Zoo and Murktide. So let's look at this Blue-Red Prowess and 5-color Zoo deck. And the Rhinos deck, which is also at 12.5%, all tied in second place. The Blue-Red Prowess deck is kind of just like an all-in, how you would picture just like it's exactly how you'd picture a boss deck. It plays cheap, powerful creatures, and then pumps them up as hard as possible, plays burn spells, draws a bunch of cards. It's just super all in and actually kills you very, very quickly. Like normally when you look at a deck like this, I'm like, yeah, of course my deck can beat it. It happens fast, and it's really, really tough to beat this deck. The 5-color Zoo deck is just a 5-color deck that is on the back of like Tribal Flames to deal 5 damage for 2 mana, but also plays a bunch of creatures that are larger size than they probably should be, like Territorial Kavu. A lot of decks also play like Regavan. The deck we're looking at right now is more of like a Cascade value version of the deck, plays Bloodbraid Elf and Shardless Agent. There's a lot of ways they build the deck. Is extremely powerful. And then the Rhinos deck plays Violent Outburst and Shardless Agent to be able to cascade into the only card that costs less than 3, which is Crashing Footfalls, which makes 2 4/4 Trampler Rhinos. The rest of the deck is kind of just a tempo deck, buying time, accidentally playing things that cost less than 3, but technically they don't cost less than 3, so you can't cascade into them. I mean, it's just a super powerful, very, very explosive, tempo-oriented deck. But that is the modern metagame, both overall and in top 8s from November 28th to December 3rd. If you liked this video and want to see more breakdowns like this, please let me know, and please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social media. Links are above me and in the description. And if you want me to add anything to my breakdowns, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.